It's that time of year, and it's time to look at which strategy games you should be looking out for in 2023, but perhaps also beyond. It's been a year of many events thus far, both in terms of full games and expansions. In this video, I'll be guiding you through the biggest and most anticipated titles this year. So if you think you've missed any important ones thus far, or are wondering what's coming up in the next few months, make sure to keep watching. But first, a strategy action game like no other you need to check out is Warlord Britannia. Warlord Britannia takes place in Britain during the Roman invasion, and you're assuming the role of a Roman legate tasked with conquering the island. Your opponents here are countless barbarians and their villages, and since you begin with just a tiny force generously provided by Caesar, it's up to you to expand your army and raise outposts to create defenses and supply them further. What's awesome about this game is the depth to which you can upgrade your legionaries, command them in battle, and partake yourself. And we're still receiving major updates, like archer and artillery units, the recently released animals and ambience update, and the major upcoming cavalry update over the course of the summer. Warlord Britannia is available on Steam, so make sure to check it out now. And thank you so much to Dark Matter Games for sponsoring this video. For our first game, we have the Great War Western Front. This is a turn-based strategy game set during World War I at the Western Front, taking a deep look at this massive and little explored war in gaming. Here, tactics and strategy is everything. On the campaign map, the front lines are clear and filled with armies, and it's up to you to maneuver your way to the other side. You will have to make tough decisions on how to best further the war effort, choose which technologies to research, and do everything you can, like taking enemy cities, to destroy the enemy war morale. Take all of this to the battlefield, where the tactics of trench warfare means everything for who ends up on top. Trenches, artillery, and where to place your armies and tanks are vital for victory, but it's no secret that defending is a lot more feasible than attacking. The Great War Western Front is out now on Steam, and you can check out my review right here on this channel. Next up is Spellforce Conquest of Eo. This is an absolutely beautiful looking game in the classical Heroes of Might and Magic turn-based style, all set in the world of Spellforce. It's all about magic and towers here, and about growing your influence in this vast fantasy world. And as always, we have a combination of that turn-based campaign and the tactical battles. The heroes are important here, with each one offering personal and unique quests, and every campaign is different with the all-new procedurally generated campaigns. In other words, if you're into high fantasy and awesome visuals, make sure to check out Spellforce Conquest of Eo on Steam. Following up with some World War II now, we have Company of Heroes 3. Now this is a big one, and it's the third installment in a series which at least originally became universally loved. Company of Heroes 3 brings that old glory RTS goodness with tactical fighting and exciting moments on the ground, and combines it with the first ever campaign map, where you will move your troops and resources around, combining support from sea and air with your land troops, and it's now even available on PlayStation 5. If you are interested in the essential metagame with skirmishes and maps, then I'm sure this game will be of interest, and can as always be found on Steam, and again, on PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series consoles. Taking inspiration from the great Mountain Blade Bannerlord, Total Conflict Resistance is somehow a stunning mix between strategic campaign gameplay, including army, economy, and diplomacy management, and first-person combat in real-time battles, where you're even able to command your squad at the same time from above. Total Conflict not only sounds amazing as a concept, but it also looks beautiful, and the intensity of the battles and depth of tactics are meant to bring it all together. It'll be interesting to see how this game shapes up, but you can already try this game in Steam Early Access right now, so make sure to expect an unfinished product. And now it's time for some Age of Wonders 4. Age of Wonders 4 continues the series under Paradox's hand, bringing the series to new heights. What I love about Age of Wonders 4 is that it feels like a better and more fun version of Civilization, because it manages to smartly and intuitively combine that campaign, where you make important choices concerning your empire and the factions around you, with a turn-based battle map. Age of Wonders 4 is further made even better by the depths of its races, meaning there's no end to the possibilities and variety. The game is about to receive a new expansion as well, for even more dragon and fantasy goodness. Age of Wonders 4 is available now on Steam. Next up is a remaster of the classic Pharaoh: A New Era, a remake of sorts of the original Pharaoh game which came out all the way back in the 90s. Pharaoh: A New Era is a city builder, offering 50 missions and over 100 hours of gameplay. Here we cultivate our fertile lands along the Nile, raise those iconic ancient Egyptian buildings and monuments, and manage our culture and religion. You'll even have to deal with economic or political crises, and even plundering enemies. This is a remake featuring modernized UIs and other systems, including a 4K overhaul that makes those old-style visuals look even sharper. Pharaoh: A New Era is available on Steam right now, and you can check out my video on this game right here. Mechabellum is a fantastic little strategy game in the genre of the auto-battler. meaning you deal with the makeup of your army, but the battles actually play themselves out. It's a surprisingly fun and addicting game, and looks amazing to boot. I have a full video of Mechabellum on the channel, so make sure to check it out here and on Steam. And now for some titles that both have and will receive updates this year. Total War Warhammer saw the inclusion of the Chaos Wars DLC, which allows us to play as the Chaos Wars on their mission to power up the Great Shrill and conquer the world. Crusader Kings 3 is better than ever, after having recently received the Tours and Tournaments expansion, which greatly enhances the game. But there's even more in store for CK3, as later this year, the Legacy of Persia Flavor Pack aims to enhance the experience while playing as Persia. For more Paradox, Hearts of Iron 4 is finally receiving an expansion focusing on the Nordic countries, which is sweet music to my Norwegian ears. I can't wait to see how this important part of the war gets fleshed out, as it remains one of the only core parts of the war in Europe that remains with the same old focus trees as when the game released. Arms Against Tyranny is set to release later this year. Now this is a big one. October sees release of Total War Pharaoh, a brand new experience in the Total War series, now taking place in the Bronze Age. Ancient Egypt is the setting, where the kingdom finds itself in a struggle between various heirs. We must also contend with the coming doom of the Bronze Age collapse here, and to gather your armies and build your realm, to fight the oncoming tide of decay. Pharaoh aims to be historically authentic and will introduce several improved battlefield mechanics. So if you enjoy the Total War series already, definitely check this one out on Steam in October. And then there's the massive city builder sequel, City Skylines 2. This is a massively anticipated title, aiming to expand on the first game to deliver a city builder unlike any other, with better graphics, increased depth, and expanded possibilities across the board. City Skylines 2 releases October 24th, and you can find the game on Steam. And now for some strategy titles that have yet to receive release dates. And the first one is of course Manor Lords. Manor Lords is another dream come true for medieval RTS, essentially mixing town building and construction with the full freedom of placement and rotation, the simulation of growth of real medieval towns, trade, and mixing it all with medium-scale battles that aims to provide a realistic feel and flow of battle, merging unit formations with morale systems, flanking, fatigue, and weather and equipment effects. There will even be cavalry, fortifications, the ability to place units on walls, and even gunpowder and siege engines in the final version of the game, which sounds really promising. Manor Lords does not have a set release date yet, but keep tuned to the game on Steam and elsewhere. For even more medieval strategy, a particular game I find very interesting indeed is King's Orders. King's Orders seems a charming, simple, yet innovative upcoming strategy game that brings an important twist to the genre. Instead of commanding cities and armies directly on the campaign, you command them through orders and messengers. This completely changes everything, as you must make decisions based on the reports you receive from the battlefield and your governors, and wait for the messengers to make their way back and forth across dangerous paths. Conquer cities and control trade routes, manage your economy, and dominate the world in this 100 Years' War setting. A demo exists on Steam right now, but there's currently no official release date. For more history, we have Ara History Untold. This is an interesting one, as Ara is all about taking your nation through history and lead your civilization to the pinnacle of human achievement. And that probably tells you something, namely that this is a game in the style of Civilization and the more recent Humankind. The difference is that I feel like Ara is trying to go for a bit more realism here, focusing both on resources, war, and perhaps first and foremost on expanding your civilization bit by bit on the map. Ara looks very interesting, and hopefully we'll learn even more about it when it releases soon enough. And now for something completely different, we have Falling Frontier, an RTS taking place in a procedurally generated star system where intel, logistics, and tactics are everything. Falling Frontier takes place in a sci-fi universe where space is open to those who want it the most. There is no ruling empire to be found here, but the ones you create, but you're not alone in wanting power. First of all, I just want to express how absolutely beautiful this game looks, and I love how interactive the star maps seem to be with zoom levels and available information, and how gorgeous these skirmishes and battles are conveyed. What makes Falling Frontier so unique is the mix between RTS gameplay and 4X mechanics. Here you fight your enemies over control over resources and frontiers and colonies in a bid to become the strongest power in the galaxy, but you also search and mine for resources in order to fuel your fledgling empire. Supply is everything in Falling Frontier if you want your ships to get around, and there's a deep technology and ship design system to create the best possible ships for the roles you need them for. In addition, you need to actively take advantage of the scanning and recon systems to aid your war effort, perhaps finding enemy ships or new and valuable resources or colonization possibilities. In Falling Frontier, your legacy and background will determine your buffs, debuffs, and initial faction technologies, which will impact your campaign as well as every single battle and minute of gameplay. Folding Frontier looks promising, and I'm really excited to see more of it soon. Broken Arrow is a large-scale real-time modern warfare tactics game, pitting modern militaries against each other. Here, you have 200 unique units to choose from, and you need both the muscle and the planning to win the battles, including taking terrain into consideration. With deep customization features allowing you to design and tailor your weapons of choice, Broken Arrow promises detail and action. And if you're interested, this or next year is hopefully the years to look forward to. Now up for the opposite of Hot War, we have Espiocracy, a strategy game taking on the Cold War and the art of espionage. Here, you can lead the intelligence agency of 74 different countries and instigate coups, deal with the very real threat of nuclear war, the space race, and even proxy wars and decolonization. Military conflict is meant to be rare in this game, and using secret operations, intrigue, and operatives to get your way is what Espiocracy is all about. It's a bonus that the campaign looks absolutely beautiful as well, and I'm very excited to see how this game will turn out when it hopefully releases in not too long. And then there's Age of Mythology Retold. This is essentially a remake of Age of Mythology, but just how much it will be remade is not yet fully known. We can only assume it at the least receives the same treatment as the other definitive editions, although since it's actually called Retold, perhaps there's something more going on here. Either way, look out for Age of Mythology Retold if you love that ancient and mythical vibe. Those were some of the biggest and most anticipated strategy games of 2023, both already released and some even without release dates. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if any of these games pique your interest, and let me know if there's any I've missed down below. Thank you so much to Dark Matter Games for sponsoring this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!